Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Dvanitsa. Today my topic of presentation is diagnosis of motor neuron disease. So you must be knowing about this terminology motor neuron disease. In motor neuron disease, the patient will have affection of the upper motor neurons as well as the brainstem, the bulbar part is involved, lower motor neurons, even the axon bundles, the nerves, rib muscles which are involved in the breathing, spinal lobar motor neurons, leg muscles, arm muscles, and the tongue. So we go through in detail. So motor neuron disease, everyone knows the fact of the disease. The MND is name given to the group of the related disease affecting the motor neurons. The nerve cells in the brain and spinal cord. Rapidly progressive fatal disease that can affect any adult at any time. Life expectancy for the most people with MND is 2 to 5 years. Around half of the patient will die within 14 months of the diagnosis. Exception is that is one of the professor of Stephen Hawking who has survived with the MMD for more than 35 years. He has a very rare, slowly progressing form of the disease. Mostly MLD affects around 5,000 people in the UK at any time. Men are more affected here in this MND than the women. Cause is mostly unknown. The cure is also unknown. It affects so many people. Here the people will have unable to walk, talk or feed themselves, but intellect and senses usually remain unaffected. Okay, so it is very serious disease. Okay, because there is a cause is unknown, even the cure is not known. So research Charcot GM who discuss the clinical and pathology of the disorders that affected both upper and lower motor neuron. This is the causes of motor neuron disease. You can see here how the normal neuron affection having the supply of the normal cell body and the axon, and here in the diseased neuron you can see the picture of the cell body and the axon. So motor pathway, this upper and lower motor neuron both are affected. So you can see here the upper motor neuron, that is it is shown here is a ventral corticospinal tract, there is a pyramidal tract. Okay, and here is a lower motor neuron, it is a supplying from the spinal cord, it has shown here. So motor neuron levels, here the affection level will be the bulbar which controls the speech and swallowing, cervical which supplies the upper limb, thoracic which supplies the tongue, and lumbar which supplies the lower limb. So it affects all this part of the CNS, brain, spinal cord, peripheral nervous system. Classification of motor neuron disease must know. The upper motor neuron disorders is called primary lateral sclerosis. It having the lower motor neuron side, it causes the name is spinal muscular atrophy or progressive muscular atrophy, and affection with the upper motor neuron and lower motor neuron symptoms, it's shown together in the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is commonest form of MND. So there are the four variants of the motor neuron disease. One is the ALS, which affects upper motor and lower motor neuron both. PMA, progressive muscular atrophy, progressive spinal muscular atrophy. In that it is a pure lower motor neuron. PLS, primary lateral sclerosis, it is a pure UMN, and a progressive bulbar paralysis. And you see the epidemiology, incidence is the 1 to 3 cases per 1 lakh per year. Prevalence is 6 to 8 per 1 lakh. Mostly sporadic, and less than 10% is the familiar cases. Management of the chronic disease, mostly we do on base of the diagnosis. Diagnosis can be done early or delay. We also do the diagnosis on basis of clinical signs, or some of the testing can be done, or from the information given by the patients or relatives. Treatment will be always disease modifying or symptomatic. Sometimes it is psychosocial care also, and it is a team approach. So why diagnosis is delay in MND cases? Because there are a few reasons for that. Because MND is very rare. Second is the variability of the clinical picture in this patient. Lack of diagnosis markers. Delay of the recognition of the disease by the patient as well as family or the primary physician when the symptoms are less initially. Time from the first symptoms to confirmation of diagnosis, it may take up to 14 months. So if you see the motor function and the time, okay, as the time goes, when you come to the diagnosis of this condition, it is already too late. Starting from the motor functions affection till it is more affected, the time goes very high. Basis of diagnosis depends on history and clinical signs. These are the signs symptoms we have to rule out in the patient. They are dysarthria, dysphagia, paucity of the tongue movements, muscle weakness and wasting, hand dysfunction, foot drop, fasciculations, cramps, spastic gait, respiratory failure, and it is a progressive course. When you see the diagnostic criteria, World Federation of the Neurology Subcommittee on MND and ALS in 1988 defined the diagnostic criteria. The first is clinically definite ALS when there is a UMN and LMN signs in the all three regions. Second is clinically probable ANS diagnosis when the UMN and LMN signs in two regions of the body. Clinically probable laboratory supported ALS when the UMN and LMN dysfunction in one region plus EMG abnormalities. Clinically possible ALS when the dysfunction in one region, and then the suspected ALS only lower motor neuron signs are seen. This is a differential diagnostic criteria. It is given by World Federation of Neurology in 1998. So symptom to concern, or it can mimic the other symptoms also in the MMD. They are the absence of fasciculations, sensory impairments, autonomic dysfunction, eye movement abnormalities, sphincter involvement, movement disorders, cognitive impairment. It may be here it is Alzheimer type, symmetrical lower motor neuron signs. So these symptoms can mimic the other symptoms also. And the incorrect diagnosis can happen with the initial signs and symptoms. The physician can early stages can diagnose as a cervical myelopathy, multifocal motor neuropathy, multiple sclerosis, primary stage, radiculopathies, painless stage, chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, myositis, cerebrovascular disease, or the periarthritis. So what are different diagnoses of the ALS? They are the muscular disease of the neuromuscular junction, disease of the anterior horn cells, disease of the spinal cord, disease of the central nervous system, and the systemic disorders. They are all the different diagnoses of the ALS. To exclude other causes of the slow progressive spastic paralysis, okay, you have to see the symptoms cervical disc or hereditary spastic paraplegia. Investigation here is most commonly MRI. We have to do the MRI of the cervical and bulbar region and the EMG. When we do the confirming the diagnosis of the MND or ALS, okay, we go for the electroneuromyography. Here in the picture, if you see the EMG, when compared to the normal in amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, okay, at the patient is at the rest. If you see the muscular activity, it should be silent at the rest, but here it seems the fibrillation and fasciculation. And when the patient doing the voluntary contraction of the muscle, normally motor neurons are closely spaced. You can see there is a very close patch pattern of the muscle fibers, and here you can see these motor neurons are decreased in number, it's high amplitude and long duration, and they are polyphasic. So this is the abnormality you can find in the EMG that confirms the diagnosis of the MND or ALS. It also can be confirmed with the MRI or DTI, that is diffusion tensor imaging of the cortical smart tract, or also we can confirm do the diagnosis on the basis of MR spectroscopy. Investigations, the laboratory sampling, actually no specific biomarkers for confirming ALS. For excluding different pathology, we have metabolic studies. It includes biochemistry, endocrinologic studies. We can do the thyroid function study, screening monoclonal gammopathy, that includes the viruses, or we can do CSF, that excludes inflammatory processes. Thus, four main functional scales that measuring the change in the status of the MND or ALS patient. First one is the ALS functional rating scale. It is to assess more important activities and complete reliability and variety testing it is. Second is a Norris scale. is the Apple scale, is additional history taking, or uses manual muscle testing in this scale. The fourth one is a tough quantitative neuromuscular exam, where here we have to scale, we have to check for maximum voluntary isometric contraction and repetitive function test are involved in this examination. The ALO diagnosis, if you go to the one flow chart, when the patient comes here with the weakness and wasting, you must look for the characteristic features, especially fasciculation of the tongue and the combination of the UM and LMA features. If they are present, they must go for the beginning the prognosis or process of the management of the MND or ALS. If it still is not confirmed, then you have to search for the neurological disease. You have to do the physical examination. Okay, we have to exclude the other syndromes like neuropathy, multiple sclerosis, seeding, spinal tumor, and spondylosis. And we have to arrange for the imaging and EMG and the blood studies. And we have to inform and always review the diagnosis. So is a MND, here we have to involve the whole team with the patient and family carer. We have to involve the whole team of different specialties like neurologist, family doctor, rehabilitation doctor, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, social worker, psychologist, radiologist, dietitian, nurse, and neurophysiologist. So here the teamwork is very, very important to handle this type of MND cases. It's not a single work of any specialty doctor or healthcare worker. So I think with this presentation you understood with the what are different diagnoses, how it affects, and how we can rule out what is the flow chart for assessing MND patient. So thank you so much everyone. I hope you like it. Thank you. Thank you very much.